Hello and welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about the live letter that was broadcast at E3 on the 10th of June 2014, and I'm going to aim to get through all of the new announcements as quickly as possible. The E3 live letter is different to live letter 15, which will be broadcast on Thursday the 12th of June, because it focuses on any and all announcements coming in the future of Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn, whereas Live Letter 15 is going to focus purely on the second part of the 2.3 reveals. So that's the difference between the two. So E3 is general announcements for A Realm Reborn, and the Live Letter 15 is for patch 2.3. So I'm going to try and go through this as quickly as I can. Anyway, hello from Mithrie. And so I've made some notes after watching it. It was quite a fun video to watch. It lasted about an hour and 15 minutes, and it was hosted by Matt Bayonne-Hilton, and he was joined by Naoki Yoshida, producer director, and Fern Hollis, who was doing live translation. And the things they announced, going through as quickly as I can, is they're going to be adding in a hug emote and a slap emote, which is just going to be for fun, basically, to be able to show some more emotion towards fellow players. There was a question about relic tools for Disciples of Hand classes, and they said for now there is they're adding in the ability to de-synthesize items, which means you'll be able to convert items into some of their crafting materials, and in the future, who knows what that will lead to. So they said it's maybe, you have to just wait and see. Then they spoke about, will there be any new zones in the game? And they said one new zone that's coming in patch 2.3 is the Cardinal Plains, where the battle for the Calamity that you see in the opening trailer of A Realm Reborn was fought. And they said you'll be able to see the devastation that Bahamut did to the land and so on, and just see how it looks, which is pretty cool. Which will also be, it'll be connected to Mordona. And then they spoke about a brutal mode for Coil of Bahamut, and this is technically the original unbalanced version of Binding Coil, which is the first thing they sort of came up with. And then later on they refined it, and eventually released it to be the content that's in the game. But they figured for fun they're going to release the unbalanced version to see if anyone can actually defeat it, because they don't think even the developers can defeat it. And they said that if anyone can defeat it, then they will get a title reward, a special title reward. And the bosses will drop gear, which will be exactly the same as in the current Binding Coil. And as well, you have to have defeated the normal Binding Coil before you'll be able to take on the brutal version. And then they got to the special announcement. So I'm just going to load up some screenshots. Okay. So now they have announced There we are. They've announced two new classes, which are the Rogue and the Ninja. So the Rogue is the class and the Ninja is the job. So the idea is that the Rogues were once, you know, just petty thieves and so on like that, but they evolved into Rogues. And you will get to see the story behind the Rogues in the game as well. They will have their own guild and they will have their own story. They have to be rogues and not thieves, because you can't imagine any of the Eorzean nations, you know, hosting a thieves guild, you know, especially when they're all about law and order. So the Rogues are not thieves, basically. They're just they will have their own reasons for being. And then, as with other jobs, once you hit Rogue to level 30, you'll be given the option to unlock the Ninja class. Now, the combat style for the Rogue and the Ninja, as you see, dual-wielding daggers, so they'll be able to move around quickly. They will have a naturally higher running speed than other classes. And as well, they will have reduced damage when they fall. And there will also be some stealth abilities as well. And when it comes to them doing damage, It will be a combination of either poisons as a rogue or ninjutsu as a ninja, which was also present in Final Fantasy XI. And the damage will be dependent on the combination of like poisons and stuff that you use. So just going back here. And now then they asked the question, will there be any new tanks or healers coming into the game? And they said there will be, but not until the expansion. And for now, the rogue and ninja class is scheduled to be released in patch 2.4. And then the next question was, will there be any more minstrel battles, such as they had the Ultima hard mode. They said, will they add any more? And they said, yeah, they're thinking about it. They're planning a few, maybe against the 4 generals of the Garlean Empire, but they still have to think of a few more ideas in that respect. They're still working on that. Moving on, there was a question about private housing. So they said private housing, having your own private house, will come into patch 2.38, so before patch 2.4. And for now, in patch 2.3, there will be a personal room within your free company house, which you'll be able to put furniture and do whatever you like in. And then they spoke about Shiva. So they said that you may have noticed Shiva on the posters and in the E3 trailer. I think A Realm in Peril, I think that's what the E3 trailer is called, link in the description. And they said the reason why they've decided to put Shiva in and all over the E3 poster and so on is because when they talked to their North American advertising PR team, they basically said that there's nothing sexy about having a bearded dude, as in Ramu, all over the poster, so that's why they decided to put Shiva in. And they basically said that Shiva's story will start in patch 2.3, leading up to patch 2.4, and it will go from there. So you won't be able to fight her in patch 2.3, but at least the story for her, because apparently it's a deep story, will start in patch 2.3's main scenario. And then they asked the question about FC Free Company content. Will there be any content for Free Company? And they were talking about balancing issues, because obviously some free companies have 5 members, other free companies are more than 200, or in some cases some even got more than 500. So they said what they've decided to do in that regard is maybe they will just do an event where there'll be a list of things for the free company to accomplish, like, who knows, maybe it's like craft 10 of this item or gather 25 of that item, whatever, and then the FC as a whole can work on that together, leading towards an ultimate goal. But they haven't said when that would come in, but that's something that's in the works. And then they asked a question about weapon-specific spells, and they were saying that they would like to, but at the same time there's always balancing issues that they have to think about. And then they looked at the next feature, which I'll just load up now. Which is this one here. Now this is actually a workshop for a free company house, and I'm assuming that this is going to be reserved for only large free company houses, but we have to just wait and see. And you can see here the person, this big workshop and so on. You can see here they're working on an airship. Now what's special about this is that they said obviously you can't just build an airship inside your house because it'd be too big, so using the power of magic it will shrink it down while you're working on it within the house. And this will be for all of the disciples of the hand to work on together within a free company, and then when it's complete, then it will be released into the world. How and when you can use an airship or whatever is, who knows, we just have to wait and see. And next they spoke about roaming primals. Is that, will there be roaming primals such as Ifrit and Titan, whatever, just roaming the world for people to battle and stuff? And they said they would like to bring it in, but it will have to tie into the main scenario, the main storyline. So they have to plan how that's going to happen. They don't just want to release them into the wild just randomly. There has to be a reason for it. So they're still working on that. So no date on that yet. And then the next question was about in-game marriage. So they said marriage will be coming in, and it will be allowed between any two players regardless of their race, creed, or gender. So if you have a friend in the game, regardless who they are, you can have a marriage to them, and there will also be rewards for people who get married. So for example, there might be a marriage specific mount that they can have and then ride together and so on. So I'm curious how that will work and where the ceremony will be. There is also, they spoke about in previous live letters about the tuxedo and wedding dress that you can get as well if you take part in the marriage system. And then next question is, have they considered adding dueling to the game? They said they're considering it, but it's something that they haven't planned for just yet. And then next question was talking about the relic weapons. So they said after the novice weapons, which is what's currently in the game, that was released in patch 2.28, eventually they want to get the relic weapon to be the actual weapon that the Zodiac saga is referring to, such as the Excalibur from Final Fantasy XI. You know, the old relics in Final Fantasy XI were incredibly hard to achieve, and they were also incredibly powerful. So they were saying that they want this to be a proper full-on reward to recognize the amount of effort going into the relic weapon, and also just look-wise. So they don't want it to just be like the normal relic weapon with a different color. They want it to look very, very different. And then the next question is, should you keep the extra tokens you have from doing the extreme primals every week? And the answer is, yeah, you can. It doesn't really matter. Maybe they'll add rewards for spending the extra tokens if you already have bought all the item level 90 weapons in the future. Maybe they won't. It's up to you. But if bag space is an issue, then just get rid of them. It's not a problem, because if you want them back, you can just get them back. And then another question came up about, will there be the option to join Duty Finder with your Chocobo in your party? Because right now, if you join the Duty Finder, then summon your Chocobo, you then get kicked out of the Duty Finder queue. Or if you have your Chocobo already out, then you won't be allowed to go into Duty Finder. And they said for now they just want to keep it the way it is, because they want to keep the Chocobo as a party member and not just some non-combat addition, because they feel it will devalue the whole Chocobo leveling thing. So they're still trying to find a balance for that. And then the next question is will there be different UIs for different roles, like a UI for healing classes, a UI for DPS, UI for tanks? And they said, yeah, they would love to do that. They haven't said when, but they said it would complement the armory system perfectly as well, because obviously there might be different, you know, key bindings that you want for each one and so on. So they said once that's ready to go, they'll announce it and they will let everyone know how it works. And then the final question was about the fan events, which are happening between October and November 2014, which will be hosted in Las Vegas, London and Tokyo. And the main point they made about it is that make sure you buy the tickets when you can, because there will be special things happening at the events, and also that by having a ticket you might be given access to exclusive in-game rewards that you can only get if you buy a ticket. So anyway, that's it for the E3 live letter. I'm very excited to see what Rogue and Ninja has to offer. As you know, on Mithrie I've already got every single class to 50, and this has been this way for quite a while now, so any new classes or jobs are more than welcome. And we'll see as well next live letter 15 for the second part of the 2.3 reveal, which I'll be sure to cover. So anyway, that's it from me, and as always, goodbye from me, goodbye from Mithrie, and I hope you liked this video. If you have any feedback or comments, please let me know, and I'll be sure to get back to you. Thank you.